The 2026 World Cup operates on a scale difficult to comprehend: 48 teams and 104 matches, distributed across an entire continent. That expansion introduces extreme environmental pressures from the opening whistle. For teams stepping onto the pitch in Mexico City, the primary opponent is often the altitude, a suffocating 2,200 meters above sea level. The opening spectacle projects a raw, overwhelming energy through the stadium, fueled by a home crowd that provides a constant wall of sound. In an environment defined by this much noise and atmosphere, it becomes easy for the emotional narrative of a game to mask the objective reality of the performance. Mexico's 2-0 win over South Africa is a prime example. The broadcast narrative focused on 3 red cards and the perceived brutality of the match. In Guadalajara, South Korea's 2-1 comeback appeared to be a victory of pure grit over a Czechia side using its physical size to dominate set pieces. To the casual viewer, these matches look like unpredictable wars of attrition, where momentum is the only deciding factor. However, a final scoreline offers a noisy and often unreliable history of what actually occurred. Relying on the scoreboard alone makes it difficult to project which of these teams can actually sustain this level of play. FIFA's technical study group works to filter out that noise. These analysts look past crowd energy to evaluate a team's underlying efficiency. By combining raw data with the lived experience of former elite players, the group identifies tactical signals often invisible during a live broadcast. Their primary diagnostic tool is expected goals, or XG. This chart shows how a chaotic cluster of shot attempts is translated into a single probability score based on the quality of the chance. Evaluating a game through XG shifts the focus toward the process. It reveals whether a team is creating genuine opportunities or simply benefiting from a moment of high-variance luck. Mexico's opener showed a massive quality disparity, 1.44 XG, against South Africa's 0.17. This performance gap was the direct result of Mexico's tactical setup. They maintained a high-intensity counterpress in the middle third, killing South Africa's attacks before they could develop. Mexico focused their attack out wide, isolating South Africa's fullbacks and forcing them into high-stakes physical duels. Raúl Jiménez served as the focal point of this strategy, using his physical presence to break the defensive shape from wide-channel deliveries. The 3 red cards were a symptom of this pressure. South Africa's system was overmatched by a tactical plan, leaving them exhausted and prone to error. South Korea's performance followed a similar logic. While Czechia's opening goal came from a low-probability event, a massive set-piece throw-in, the match favored the side that created better looks over 90 minutes. Despite trailing early, South Korea controlled the underlying metrics, finishing the match with nearly 2 expected goals, compared to Czechia's 0.95. Their midfield dismantled the Czech low block through disciplined pass-and-move combinations. They relied on tactical patience rather than a panicked shift toward direct, low-percentage play. This result demonstrates why a team's probability model is a more accurate predictor of success than a temporary deficit. South Korea's discipline allowed their statistical edge to eventually manifest on the scoreboard. This forensic lens is just as useful for evaluating Canada. While host nation passion provides an emotional lift, their strategy relies on a specific tactical algorithm. Coach Jesse Marsch utilizes a high-intensity pressing system. The goal is to recover the ball where they can immediately punish the opponent's defensive transition. Canada operates within a rigid 4-4-2 structure. As this schematic shows, the grid shifts aggressively to trap the opposition against the sideline, creating high-value turnovers. Executing this system requires the explosive pace of players like Alphonso Davies. He covers massive amounts of ground to exploit recovery moments in wide areas. Canada's path through the group stage depends on the flawless execution of these specific triggers. Success here is an output of tactical math, not host nation magic. In 2026, the way we watch this tournament is changing. FIFA is releasing 53-page data reports after every match, providing a level of detail previously unavailable to the public. The high-resolution analytics used by elite managers are now available to any fan with an internet connection. This data makes traditional analysis, which focuses on goals, highlights, and broadcast narratives, feel incomplete. This transparency changes how we evaluate team strength. It allows fans to look past the scoreline and identify which teams are actually controlling their own destiny. In a tournament this large, variance is a factor. Deflected shots and late penalties will always create a few chaotic results. However, teams that consistently dominate the underlying performance metrics tend to be better positioned to navigate the bracket. The 2026 World Cup will ultimately favor the sides that minimize their reliance on luck. If you want to know who is actually winning, watch the performance, not the score.